Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to a new episode. Episode 3, Grammar for Unit 1, Grade 10. In this episode, we will learn about the past simple and the past continuous. Take a look at this outline. You will see 3 tenses: the past, the present, and the future. Let's read the sentences together. I played football. This sentence is in the past. I am playing football. This sentence is at the present time. In the future, the sentence will be I will play football. These are the main 3 tenses in English. Now, take a look at this tense called past continuous. Let's read the sentence together. I was playing football. Do you see any change in this sentence? We will learn more about it in the coming slides. Let's start with the past simple using a verb. My friend picked me up last night. Now, when you look at this sentence, how would you know that this sentence is in the past? We have 2 things. First, we will look at the verb. Where is the verb in this sentence? Picked me up. And the second thing we will look at is the keyword. What is the keyword here? Last night. So if we want to identify the sentence, whether it was in the past or in the present, we will look for 2 things, the verb and the keyword. Another way to recognize a past simple sentence is to look for the verb to be in it and see in which tense it is. For example, Sarah was very tired after her flight to Australia. Now, where is the verb to be in this sentence? You're right, was. Was is the verb to be in the past. When I see was, I will automatically know that this sentence is in the past. Where is the keyword that shows me that this sentence is in the past? After her flight. So I know that this thing happened after means in the past. Let's take another example for the past simple using verb to be. The teachers were very proud of the students at the ceremony last night. Where is the verb to be in this sentence? Were. Were is the verb to be for the plural, meaning it's for more than one person, not singular. The teachers, we cannot say the teachers was, we will say the teachers were. Seeing this verb to be in the past tells me that this sentence is in the past simple. Now you tell me, where is the keyword? Last night is the keyword. Well done. When I say keywords, what do I mean by keywords? They're basically words that refer to the past. For example, last night, yesterday, last week, the other day, or simply any date that is past. Let's take more examples. Yesterday, I visited my friend and we talked about many things. Where are the verbs? Visited, talked. Where is the keyword? Yesterday. Well done. My family bought this house in 1995. Now you will think, is this date in the future, the present time, or it's in the past? If it's in the past, then the sentence is in the past. He went out at 7 p.m. to buy grocery. Now we will take a look at 2 things, the verb and the time. So went tells me that this sentence is in the past. The dog barked loudly because it saw a stranger. So here, saw and barked are both in the past. The kids were very energetic at the football match. So the word were, the verb to be were, tells me that this sentence is in the past. Now let's test your understanding. Choose the correct tense for the following sentences. 1. Jassim tried to open the door, but it was locked. 2. Noura bought a beautiful dress from the store the other day. 3. Aisha washes the dishes after dinner last night. The waiter was fired because he dropped or drops the dishes onto the floor. 5. Fahad was or is able to carry all the grocery bags yesterday. 6. Khalid and Ahmed are or were late to the meeting last night. Now, when you choose the correct answer, you have to either look for keywords or look at the pronoun, okay, or the subject in the sentence to choose the right word. So pay attention to the tense, the verbs, and the pronouns. Let's take a look at the answers. 1. Jasim tried. If you got it right, well done. 2. Noura bought. 3. Aisha, I'll give you a second, washed or washes. Washed, well done. Why did you choose wash? Because we have the keyword last night. 4. The waiter was fired because he dropped. Now, because we have the word was, I know the sentence is in the past. Fahad was or is able to carry all the grocery bags yesterday. So now in this sentence, we have a keyword, which is yesterday. So tell me which verb to be is suitable for Fahad and yesterday. Was, that's correct. 6. Khalid and Ahmed are or were late to the meeting last week. So think about it. Khalid and Ahmed, they're two, not one. And last week is a keyword. Which one you will choose as a verb to be? Were, that's correct. Well done. Now let's take a look at the past simple if you want to use it in question form. We have the auxiliary verb did, and you all know what did does to the verb. It turns it into infinitive. If you are going to use did, do, does, you cannot put the verb in any form other than the infinitive. What do I mean by the infinitive? A clean verb, okay? So, did you sell your car recently? Here, sell, okay, is a verb. But because I use did, and did refers to the past, I don't need to put it in any other form other than the infinitive. When the reader reads this question, or when someone listens to this question, they will know immediately that you are speaking in the past simple. So, did you sell your car recently? Did refers to the past. And remember, after did, the verb is always in the infinitive. For example, if the sentence was Lulwa and Majid bought a new house, and you want to ask or form a question for this sentence, how are you going to put it? You will say, did Lulwa and Majid buy a new house? You see in the answer or in the sentence, we said bought, but because we used did in the question, we turned it into the infinitive and we said buy. Is it clear? Nice. Let's take another example. Badr resigned from the company yesterday. If I want to form a sentence for a question, for it, I will say, did Badr resign from the company yesterday? In the sentence, I said resigned. In the question, I said resign because I used did. Now, if I want to use the verb to be in the question, how am I going to use it? I will put it in the beginning, like the example you see. Were you at the mall yesterday? So here I use the verb to be in the question form, okay? Usually when I use were or was in the question form, it's for the yes or no answers. For example, was it very sunny in Rome? They will answer, yes, it was, or no, it wasn't. Another example is when you use were with the WH questions. Like, for example, when you say, why were you late for work this morning? Or, why was she late for work this morning? In the sentence, we say she was late or they were late. But in the question, we will invert the sentence. We will say, why were you or why were they instead of they were. Is it clear? Let's take an example. If the sentence or the answer was, yes, there was enough food for everyone, and I want to form a question for it, I will say, was there enough food for everyone? See here, the answer started with a yes, because using was and were for forming questions will give us a yes or no answers. Another example, if the answer was, yes, I was bored, that's why I turned on the television, the question will be, were you bored all alone? And that's why I answered this way. If I want to use the past simple in the negative, I will say, I didn't drive to work today. I walked. Now, take a look at the use of the auxiliary verb did here. I used it in the negative form, didn't. Take a look at the verb. The verb is in the infinitive again, because as we said, the verb coming after the auxiliary verb is always in the infinitive. So in the past simple, if you want the sentence to be negative, you will use did with the verb. Now you will answer, what about the verb to be? Simply, you will make the verb to be negative. For example, the class wasn't interested in the documentary I played. So instead of saying the class was interested, you will make it negative. So you will say the class wasn't interested. Let's take an example. Noor was upset because she felt tired. Noor wasn't upset. As simple as that. Another example, my uncle enjoyed the film because it's a sci-fi film. If I want to turn this sentence from affirmative to negative, I will say, my uncle didn't enjoy the film. I added the auxiliary verb did with not to the verb to make it negative, didn't. Now choose the correct answer and test your understanding. Sarah and Aisha didn't know which road to take to get to the zoo. That's one sentence. The other sentence will be, Sarah and Aisha didn't know which road to take to get to the zoo. So think about it. It's auxiliary verb and the verb coming after it should be in a one form. What do we call that form? The other sentence is, Selma not like the burger she ordered, so she sent it back to the restaurant's kitchen. Or can we say, Selma didn't like the burger she ordered, she sent it back to the restaurant's kitchen. Now think about those sentences and choose the correct one. The first one is, Sarah and Aisha didn't know, because as we said before, the verb coming after did always in the infinitive. The second sentence is, Selma didn't like. We cannot say Selma not like. It's not correct. Those of you who got it right, well done. Let's take a look at the timeline again. We mentioned the past continuous. In the past continuous, we use the verb to be, was, as you can see, and then we add ing to the verb. So it will be, I was playing football. Let's take an example. I was decorating the kitchen this morning. Now the verb to be, was, refers to the past, but I have the verb with ing. And then, in the kitchen, this morning, refers to the past also. So how can I add ing to these verbs? What I'm trying to say in the past continuous is basically referring to something that happened in the past and it was progressing and happening at that time. That's why I use the ing with the verb. For example, the children were watching television yesterday evening. So yesterday evening, at that time, the kids were watching. They continued on watching. That's why I use the past continuous. For example, the girl was running fast to her class, or many people were studying at the library. So pay attention to this. Verb to be, was aware, and the verb with ing. Okay? The question is, when do we use the past continuous? We usually use the past continuous when we have two events, both of them in the past, but one event interrupted the other. So for example, when we say, we were walking across the street when we saw the accident. So here, when I was walking across the street, we saw an accident. Two events, both in the past, and one interrupted the other. The connection between the two sentences is the word when, and we can also use while. It started to rain while we were swimming. Now, let's move on to the language functions. What do I mean by language functions? Language functions are basically situations that needs your response. When you face a language function question, you have to read it and say exactly what you would say in that situation. Imagine yourself in this situation, and your answer should be in a full grammatical sentence. For example, your friend suggested eating at a vegetarian restaurant. What would you say? For example, I prefer eating non-vegetarian food. Here you're expressing preference. Or your brother is confused between two beverages in a restaurant, coffee or juice. What would you say? I highly recommend the coffee. The coffee blend of this cafe is amazing. So here you're basically recommending. Usually in language functions, you will recommend, prefer, or show, or suggest, or advise. So you will say what you would say in that situation. In this episode, we learned the past simple, the past continuous, and also the language functions. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode.